Good morning, everyone. Welcome to one more book launch event. My name is Pooja Gupta, the host for today, on behalf of अध्ययन बुक्स। आशा करती हूँ कि आपको हमारे नए बुक्स के ऑथर से मिलना, उन्हें जानना पसंद आ रहा होगा। कमेंट सेक्शन में जरूर बताइए। आज हम जिस किताब के बारे में बात करेंगे, उस किताब का नाम है इकोज ऑफ इंस्पिरेशन, अ बुके ऑफ इंस्पायरिंग स्टोरीज। इस किताब की ऑथर हैं डॉक्टर श्रीलेखा देवनाथ। Dr. Srilekha Devnath is a remarkable educator and performance improvement mentor with over 20 years of experience in international education system. Following her Amazon bestseller, Be a Proton, Always Positive, she continues to inspire readers worldwide. As the founder of Accounts Rockstars, she is a passionate advocate for financial literacy and social welfare, masterfully employing storytelling as an educational philosophy. Let's welcome Dr. Srilekha Devnath. Hello, ma'am. कैसे हैं आप?
I'm very good. How are you doing, Pooja?
I'm also good, ma'am. So, first of all, congratulations, आपकी बुक लाइव हो गई है Amazon पे। कैसा लग रहा है मैम आपको?
Thank you so much. बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है. It's a long awaited thing and finally जब वो live हुई तो it's a very big event of course in my life.
Yeah. So that is completely awesome. And now, ma'am, आप हमें अपने बुक के बारे में कुछ बताइए, जिससे हमारे बुक व्यूअर्स को आइडिया हो सके आपकी बुक के बारे में कि किस चीज के बारे में है आपकी बुक।
Pooja, actually life is always full of many challenges and हम लोग struggle करते रहते हैं, how to face those challenges. तो हमारी लाइफ में भी कुछ ऐसे मोमेंट्स आए जहाँ पे challenges थे and that was the moment when I was inspired with the stories what I heard from my mother, my grandmother as a child. So these stories actually showed me the way how to fight these challenges, how to overcome these challenges and make them into a positive ending. So that is how I got inspired to write this book. And one more thing, Pooja, I want to say over here. As a child, I always used to find these stories so fascinating. So whatever I learned as a child, those things are etched in my memory with so much of clarity, even now at this age also. So that is how I thought that let me write some stories so the readers they will carry a good message lifelong along with them.
Okay. So, ma'am, I think the book is very inspiring as I've gone through the book completely, and all the stories are really very motivating. So, ma'am, first of all, हमारे viewers obviously जानना चाहेंगे that what do you do? Like tell us something more about you.
All right, the bottom of my heart, I am a teacher, and I came into the teaching profession at a very young age. And very interesting thing I'll tell you about how I became a teacher, Pooja. I want to share this with everybody actually. So when I passed out from my college, I finished my master's. So there was a dream in the mind that I wanted to do MBA and I wanted to join the corporate world. But that was a time suddenly, I received a call from my younger sister's school. They were looking for an accountancy teacher at that time, and principal called me. They were not finding anybody good. So somehow she had an idea because I used to go to school to meet the teachers when my sister was studying this. That's how she connected with me. And then she asked me to come over to school and meet them. And I went over there with the thinking that I'll say a no. So when I reached the school, they were really, very serious looking for a teacher. So one of the teachers took me to the classroom where about 60 people were sitting. And I was taken inside, and the teacher said, "Meet your new teacher." This she said, and the first line what came out from me was, "I don't know how to teach." I ended up saying that because I was so young myself at that time, so I said, "I don't know how to teach." And all those 60 people, they were looking at me that somebody is saying she's a teacher, and teacher is saying she doesn't know how to teach. So then she said, no, no, please give it a try. If you don't like it, then don't join this profession. So on that condition, I joined that if I don't like, I will discontinue. And slowly and slowly, I fell in love with my students. My first batch, I remember them so well. Even in the book, also, you will see one person from that batch has given the best wishes in that. So he was a student from my first batch. So he has also written the best wishes in the book. So that is how I ended up in this profession. And fortunately, I was working with City Montessori School in Lucknow, which is one of the very progressive and one of the very big institutions of the country. So I got a lot of opportunities from that age. I was 21 that time. From that age, I got the opportunity to travel the world, go into educational conferences, meeting educators, meeting students from different countries. So what happened is, my teaching horizon became very wide because of that. Because from a very young age, I was so fortunate to get those opportunities. And then I fell in love with this profession. So, as you said, what you do, I do many things. But at the bottom of my heart, I am a teacher.
Yeah, so I think it is a very true saying that one should always remain a teacher at heart. So I think you are living that thing. So, okay, ma'am.
Thank you.
So now, I would like to know that since you are yourself an author now, so do you have any favorite author of yours?
This is a very interesting question. As a child, when I was growing up, those days, television and the social media, all those things were not there. So my ma and baba, what they did was that they loaded us with books that time, and a lot of very interesting and nice magazines. Children magazines were also available at that time. So when you're talking about books in Hindi, so I've grown up reading comics like Champak,
Yeah.
Balbharti, Nandan, all these. These were in Hindi. Then English, I used to read. My parents subscribed that magazine for me. That was Target. And later on, as I grew up, Reader's Digest was one of my favorite at that time. And I'm a Bengali. So there was a magazine in Bangla, Shuktara. So though I don't know how to read and write Bangla, but my mama used to read it for me every time. It was full of nice, interesting, motivational stories. So I used to read. Then, of course, Enid Blyton. As a child, every child's favorite was Enid Blyton. Then, when I grew up, I read some beautiful stories written by Sharat Chand Chattopadhyay. And again, here was a challenge. I don't know how to read Bangla, but his translations are available in English. So, how the society was, how an author can explain so that the scenes are running in front of your eyes. That is what I learned from great author Sharat Chandra Chattopadhyay. And I am also a great fan of Jeffrey Archer. All his books I have read. Fantastic reading, actually. So lots of reading, lots of reading.
Yes, ma'am. That's why you are an author yourself now, and many congratulations for that. And
Thank you. Thank you so much.
yeah. So, ma'am, my next question is like, what inspired you to compile these particular stories for Echoes of Inspiration? And like, how do they reflect on your personal values?
Lovely question. So, there are two very important people in my life, my mother and my grandmother. So, as I said, when we were small, so we did not have a television. So, radio was the only way that time. So, radio, and then after a certain hour, radio also station used to close down. So I remember every night before we went to the bed, grandmother used to tell us a story always. And she was such an amazing woman, very learned person of her time. She was such an amazing woman. So she used to ask us, today, what do you want to hear? So we will say, we want to hear a detective story today. And she will weave a story and she will tell me. And days after days, starting with mythology, detective series, some comic moments, so she used to spin stories and tell us. So we used to fall asleep every night with those stories flashing as dreams in the front of our eyes. And those stories, so many of them, I still remember the way she used to tell us. Amazing. So she was one of the major source of inspiration for so many stories which are still there with me. And the other person who is the most important person in my life is my mother. So whenever we used to ask her something, so she will never say, do this, do that. She has never said that. Instead of that, she used to always narrate a story in a form of an incident or something, but she never used to conclude the story. And she used to ask us that time that if you were in that position, what you would have done. So what happened? We used to give our opinion. We means me and my younger sister. We are two of us. So we used to give our opinion about it. And sometimes, if she felt that we have not taken a right conclusion, so she used to give us some options that time. Don't you think if you do it like this would have been better? And then we used to agree on that point. So the strong decision making skills, the strong narrating skills, all these things I picked up at a very young age from my grandma and my mama. I picked up from there. And what is interesting is whatever they shared with me as a small child, I have not forgotten all that. So that, an understanding developed that reading something and hearing something from a wise person, the hearing something from a wise person in the form of a story has a longer memory because of
Yes,
that. So that is how I felt that even while teaching also I have used stories as a very strong pedagogical tool. I've used that actually. So while imparting my lessons also I've been using. So after using this for such a long time, then this idea came into the mind that why not to pen down some of them so that whosoever is reading, they will carry those values, they will carry those things in their heart, and they will remember them for a very long time.
that was
So
really a
that is how
great
this
idea.
book happens.
Yeah, yeah. That like I will like really like to congratulate you that this idea will give inspiration to I guess many authors, coming authors, so they'll take inspiration
Thank
from
you.
your idea.
Thank you so much.
Okay, ma'am. So now I would like to know that do you have any role model?
Well, if you talk about a role model, my mother is my role model. As I told you, see, from such a tender age, she supported our decision-making skills.
Yeah.
So it strengthened us as a person. And whenever something we have to decide, somewhere though she's not there with us now, but her words always, they are there in the mind, and that always guides us to take right decision. I will tell a little about my mother also. See, my mother got married at a very young age. Those days, they used to get married at a very young age.
Mm-hmm.
So, after having me and my sister, when she was in her mid 20s by that time, she just continued her studies that time. So, she finished her graduation. She was masters in 4 subjects. So, in those
Okay.
days, having a master, today also people don't do, but she did masters in 4 subjects, she did. Then after that, she did her B.Ed and she was also a teacher. So, how beautifully she used to balance her studies, two growing up kids were there, household, everything is there. And along with that, she also managed her profession so well. She was a wonderful teacher. She used to teach history and Sanskrit. These 2 subjects she used to take, and her students used to love her once again. So I always used to think that she's managing so many things. And another beautiful trait in her was, she was always cool headed. She's never raised her voice on us. She was always so cool. Whatever situation comes, she maintained a very positive outlook and she always managed every situation very coolly. So, both the sisters, me and my sister, we both grew up looking at these things and we always wanted to be like that. So, if you ask for a role model, no better role model than my mama.
I think she can prove to be a role model to many, as you have said about her. Yeah.
Yes.
So, ma'am, now I would like to know something more about you. Like, apart from that, what are your hobbies?
Your question did not come very clearly. Will you please repeat the question once again?
Ma'am, I wanted to know more about you. Like, what are your hobbies?
Oh, that's so interesting. Hobbies. I do very nice and interesting things. Of course, you know only about the author's part, but yes, music is my life. So I love to sing and I am a performer on stage also. So that is one aspect of my personality. I love music. Then I love traveling. So whole family, all of us, we are world travelers. So whether it is India or abroad, we do a lot of traveling because we love learning about people, their culture, how things are all around. So we do a lot of traveling. Then another thing is I'm very passionate about reading. So till date also, especially going back to the old stories, that is something so wonderful. I love. Everybody asks me, you know the story, why are you reading it once again? But every time I read, even if I'm reading a second time or 100th time, something good and different, I always am able to draw out of that thing. And I really enjoy cooking. Being a Bengali, we are, such foodies. So experimenting with different types of foods, that is something I really enjoy doing that.
Great. So you have a like varied list of interests, I see,
Yes,
and you are
yes.
a very creative person as well. So, ma'am, like you have already told us that your mother and your grandmother, they used to narrate stories to you. So how like their storytelling have impacted your writing style?
Oh, so as I've already said, my grandmother and my mother, so it has a huge impact on the writing style because see, my grandmother, she used to create stories on the spot, okay, according to the situation. So when I was writing these echoes of inspiration, um, when the readers will read this book, they will see that I have actually incorporated characters from varied age group and different backgrounds I have said. So it has got a very wide spectrum because of that thing. Wide spectrum is there, and how their lives are, and how things may come as challenge in their lives, how they are overcoming that. So, lot of variety. The way she used to incorporate so much of variety, I was able to incorporate that in my stories. And on the other hand, when I was speaking about my mother, so her stories were always, empowering me with the decision making skills. So even that part also in some stories I have demonstrated that how the characters have taken decisions, they have taken the right decisions, and that is how they were able to succeed in the end for whatever they were looking for. So a huge impact with the approaches they both have that has actually shown in the stories that I have written in the book.
Great. So, ma'am, as the book title suggests that these stories are echoes of inspiration, could you elaborate on like what you hope readers will take away potentially from and like they will echo in their own lives?
The first thing about the book is, the simplicity. The book is presented in a very simple manner. So when somebody reads it, and it is everything is explained in such a simple manner. So the things will always echo in their ears, whatever, the values and things that are talked in every story, they will always echo in the minds of the people. Then I will also say over here that inspiration is a thing, which is always all around us. So the characters that I have chosen in the stories, those kind of characters are all around us. Though I have established this book in a very traditional Indian manner, but any part of the world they are reading, they will find those kind of characters around them. So
Yes.
inspiration is all around us, and our learning from these inspirations can go on and on if we are alert and looking around us. So that is what is the spirit behind this book, that you read the story, you enjoy, but you will see those kind of people around you and you can learn so much more from their lives. So that is how, echoes will inspire the people and they will inspire them more when they find the similar characters around them.
That was great, ma'am. So now, many of your stories feature characters overcoming significant obstacles in their life. So, was
Yes, yes.
there a particular challenging period in your life that taught you about resilience?
Well, Pooja, challenges are part of every person's life. Some people are very fortunate. They are born with a silver spoon, things are offered to them in a golden platter, and they're able to manage things in a very smooth and easy way. But for the majority of people, that is not the case. So I was also born up in a middle class family. So it was not like that, that everything, whatever we wanted, everything was available to us. I told you about my mother that she used to let us decide that whether we should
Mhm.
take a thing or not to take a thing. So I have grown up in a very simple household, in a middle class household. Nothing came on a platter. Nothing came on a platter all the time. So there were challenges from a very young age. So I was a sports person also. My mother always encouraged me to be a sports person. So I was a national level badminton player. I used to represent my state, Uttar Pradesh, to
Okay.
the nationals. It was like that. Okay. So balancing things between my academics, and because when you are a sports person, lot of your time goes into, preparation, training, everything. So my day
Yes.
used to start at 5 o'clock in the morning with my training exercises, then the school studies, everything. Again, evening, again, training was there. So challenges were there, how to balance. But somehow, with the support of my mother, I was able to balance it out. Then later on, as I grew up, at a very young age, at the age of 21, I entered into a profession which I never wanted to be.
Yeah.
So again, there was challenge. Prepare yourself nicely because your students are always looking up to you. So you should be a role model. You should be well prepared for everything. So that was also a challenge, big challenge. At that age, it was like that. Now it is very smooth. So many years with the teaching and all, so now it is very smooth. But
Mhm.
that was very challenging at that time. Then after that, when I got married, things changed. I entered a new phase of life. So we became parents. I have one daughter, a lovely daughter. So she was growing up. Again, everything was so challenging how to manage things and all. But then after that, the most challenging moment of the life came. So we are, as I told you, we are very fond of traveling. So we do lot of road travels. We do still do different parts of India. We do traveling. So in one of these occasions, we met with a very serious road accident, and where our lives were at a threat. There were so many permanent damages. So what you see the external part, but there were a lot of permanent damages. Like I lost my eyesight in one of the eyes, hearing went from one of the ears. I live with a permanent fracture on my hips. Okay, these were the challenges, and initially it was very depressing that why this is happening. And then, these stories on which I was raised, they started coming to me at that time. And then I saw a positive light after that. Then the first thing was I joined back the work. So on a wheelchair, I used to go at that time, but I went back to work, and that did the magic. When I went back to work, and things were challenging, but I was trying to manage things. So mind was working, and mind was working with a lot of positive thoughts that I learned from these stories. So it helped us to overcome the whatever is permanently damaged, that thing cannot come back. But then, coming out of that depression, coming out of that situation, it happened like a magic. Then I started traveling after that. I started traveling. I do a lot of international travels on a professional basis. So I started traveling, and when I go to these places, I go to schools. I talk to the educators over there. I talk to the students over there. I tell them about my Indian values, about my Indian education system. I talk upon that because everybody is running after the Western system, but our own education system is so robust, so wonderful actually. So. Last year, I went to Germany. They were so interested to learn about our Hindustani system of education values, what we have, where we hold a teacher at what level, and all those things. So these things, I started traveling. These things brought a lot of positive change. So difficulties are there, a lot of difficulties are there, but we have to work out the ways. We have to see the things in a positive manner. So that was the reason when I did my first book, the title was Be a Proton, Always Positive. Because when you will think positive, even the difficult moments will become easy for you after that. You will work out a way to come out of the difficult moments, and you can actually, stay positive, and you can overcome the difficulties. That was the thing. So, life has challenges, but we have to stay positive with a cool mind, and we will be able to come out of those difficult situations.
Ma'am, that is truly very inspiring, very inspiring. Like we all have
Thank you.
some lows and some highs in our
Yes,
life, but it is
yes,
very
yes.
important to come out of those lows and then like master our highs. So that was truly inspiring,
So we
ma'am.
have to train our mind for that. How to stay positive? We have to train our minds for that. Okay, we have to do a lot of self-talk for that. So when you do a lot of self-talk, you will be able to train your mind that okay, don't see the bad aspect of that thing. There may be some way to come out of that.
Yeah. So, ma'am, let's talk about the another story from your book, The Carpet Story. The Carpet Story presents an interesting take on value and worth. What life experience shaped your perspective on material possessions versus intrinsic values?
That's a very interesting question, Pooja. So, in the carpet story, I have taken two very contrasting characters. Okay, so there is one couple who are very privileged, very rich, and they have everything, whatever they want. And the other couple, which is there in the story, they are very hardworking couple. They come from a very simple background, and they are not rich, but both the couples they love traveling. So, our rich couple, they have everything, so they don't have to do any planning and all for this. But our simple couple, who are also teachers, coincidentally, both of them, they really work hard the whole year. They save money, and then they do a lot of planning. They do a lot of research about the place where they are going, and they try to make a good deal out of their travel, so that every penny, whatever they are spending, they get the worth of that. So, towards the end of the story, something very interesting happens. All through the time, these rich couple, they try to dominate the other couple because they have everything. They're very loud, so they try to dominate them. They try to drag them along with them every time. So, something very interesting I will share with you. This book is already there with many of the readers. So, one of the readers, she specially mentioned this that when she was reading the story, they all felt that, why these people are not protesting. But they were very polite, so they never protested against this rich couple. But in the end, when they go to a shop to buy a souvenir from the place, so as usual, the rich couple drags them to a very high profile showroom where things are very expensive. So our younger couple feels that now they won't be able to afford anything over there, so they give up that now they can't carry a memento. And the owner of the shop, he was observing both the couple very carefully. So the rich couple, they were always after flashy things, big things, flashy things. So they bought a very high value carpet from the shop, but the quality of the carpet was not very good. On top of that, that was not the true representation of the art of that place. But these people, they never did any research. They always felt anything what is expensive is great. They felt like that. Whereas the other young couple, the teacher couple, so they used to study a lot wherever they were going. So they were able to identify a small carpet in the shop, which was the true representation of the art of that place. So owner of the shop observed these people. So when this rich couple purchased their very high value carpet and then they started leaving, so these two also started leaving. But that was the time the owner of the shop, he encouraged them to buy that smaller carpet, which was a true representation of the art of that place. So these people said they have only 10 coins. They said the price of this is 10 coins. And everybody in the shop was shocked that that carpet was given to them for 10 coins. And later on, when they met some other person who saw both the carpets, he expressed the reality then that the carpet rich people bought for a very high value that was hardly of 100 coins, that was the worth. And the poor couple for which they paid the 10 coins for that carpet, that was worth about 1,000 gold coins. Actually, that was the price of that carpet. So this story actually tells about, the it teaches us a very important lesson. Actually, money can't buy everything. The true thing, the true value of the art is never in the money. True value of art is always in the eyes of the beholder. That is what the thing. And on top of that, see the good approach of the store owner. He also recognized the admiration in these people, and he allowed them to get a good deal with whatever money they have so that they can keep a memento for their lifetime with them. So it ends beautifully. Actually, the story ends beautifully. This thing. Yes.
Yeah, it sounds very interesting. And yes, I've read it.
Yes.
The stories are truly amazing. So, so ma'am, your previous book, Be a Proton, Always Positive, was an Amazon bestseller. So,
Yes.
this collection differ or build upon your earlier work?
See, as I told you, that there will be ups and downs in life. Up moments, so we are very happy, we are cool, everything is going good. But the down moments, they actually put up the real challenges. And that is where, as I said before, also that we really have to work hard to train our minds so that we always stay like a proton. So, this is actually my tagline also, be a proton, always positive. So, in my intros also, I always say this thing because that you will have to train your mind. So, in that book, that is what I stressed upon that whatever difficulties come in your life, if you are training your mind to stay positive, and you should always try to find a solution to the problem. If you're able to manage to do that, find out the solutions to the problems, you will be a proton lifelong.
That is a great idea. And ma'am, so I see that your book includes endorsements from your daughter, sister, and husband. So how has your family supported your writing process?
Actually, there is a message to all those who are listening to this conversation that we are having with us that, there are many people around us, but nobody like that, what our family members are to us. So I will tell about these people. So you must have read the endorsements. One is by my daughter Sohini. So she is an MBBS student in a third year MBBS. So she is going to become a doctor and again serve the society. And the other endorsement is from my sister. Okay, so these two are my biggest cheerleaders. So whatever I am doing, they will always say, go, go, go for it. They will always say that. So I get the courage to attempt so many things because of these two people. They're always telling that. And on the other hand, my husband, he is the sheet anchor because I'm very enthusiastic. I'm sometimes over enthusiastic. I know that. So when I go over enthusiastic, so that is the time, his presence makes the things balanced in my life. So to get that balance and to feel encouraged to try and attempt anything and everything. That is what I get from my family. So my sister and my daughter, they are my best friends. They are my biggest cheerleaders. And when you talk about my husband, of course, he is the sheet anchor. As I said, he keeps me grounded all the time.
So I think your family is the best example of like blending everything
Actually,
in
Pooja,
one place.
everybody's family is like that. You will get the best
Yeah,
of the inspirations, the best of the encouragements, the best of the suggestions from your family members only because they will be able to tell you right and wrong on your face. Others
yeah,
will always pretend. They will see only good things they will tell. But your family
yeah.
people, they will tell you the right, wrongs, everything actually.
That is absolutely correct, ma'am. Absolutely correct.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
So, my last question from you would be, so ma'am, I see you have worked across education, literature, finance, and community service. So, which of these fields has provided the richest source of inspiration for your storytelling?
Well, now you have posed a very difficult question. Huh? So many things. I know I wear many hats. But of course, we have to remember that inspirations are all around us. So, in whatever field I'm working, I always get inspired and I get some source of some learning, some story from this. So, for that, let's take an example. When I'm teaching my students, so if at that time, the moment I'm able to explain a very difficult concept to them in a simple manner, and they are able to understand that thing, so it gives me such a it really makes me so happy. It makes me feel amazing at that time. Okay, so I use stories a lot at that time to make the difficult things for them to understand so that they not only remember the story, they remember the concept also lifelong, and it gives me so much of happiness. Same way when I'm doing my musical performance, So I prepare myself, the aim is to connect with the audience in such a way that they always remember how I perform. And whenever I go on stage, again, I really collect a lot of ideas at that time. I will narrate always something before I do the performance. So whatever I'm performing in relation to that, I always make a narration before the. So audience are able to collect way more because of that thing. Then you talked about, me being a financial literacy support to people. So when I'm able to make a good offer and understanding to the people about how to make the best use of the money that they have. So it is again a lifelong thing because they will get returns from that investment lifelong they will get, isn't it? So that again gives me so much of happiness, and again I make them understand. So if you read my book, there is one story on this also, that how do we make good investments, and we can enjoy the retail therapy, but we can keep all our money intact with us. So from all these sources, whatever work I'm doing, if I'm doing some social work, and that brings dignity into somebody's life, that brings confidence into somebody's life, I feel so satisfied, so happy by doing that. So I may be wearing many hats, but these stories, they are always all around us, and I feel so inspired from all these things.
That is so great to know, ma'am. So now, my most important question to you, since your book is so interesting and so inspiring, so do you have plans for a follow-up book or any related projects in future?
Well, these things come as a flash in my mind. But yes, I will always look up to another project. Of course, in the coming days, I will always look forward to it. And I've already done a book on staying positive. I've already done a book on inspiring stories. So maybe next time I would look forward to sharing some real life experiences of mine from where I learned so much. So maybe I will look forward for something like that in future.
Yes, and that is a great idea. Like our viewers also, our readers also will get to know a lot more things about you and your life. So that will be truly amazing. And so, ma'am, since we are towards the end of our event, so what message would you like to leave with readers as they close echoes of inspiration?
Yeah, this is something, such a beautiful question you have asked. So I want all my readers, as they are reading the book, they should go through the situations, they should go through the characters, and when they close the echoes of inspiration, I want the golden memories, what they have read through in the books, always, keep on echoing in their minds so that they are able to do the right things, they are able to be always be just in whatever they are doing, and they all are able to shine, all are able to do wonderful in whatever they are doing. So that I would look forward for all my readers of echoes of inspiration, that they feel inspired, they do wonderful things in their life, and they shine as superstars in whatever they are doing.
That is so great, ma'am. And it was very nice to have you with us for your book launch. And I think this book is going to like inspire a lot of people who are going to read this book and who are going to see our launch event. एंड मैम हम आपकी बुक का जो लिंक है वो नीचे डिस्प्ले कर रहे हैं ताकि लोग जाएं और आपकी बुक को वहां से परचेज कर सके उसे पढ़े और उससे बहुत कुछ सीख सके थैंक यू एवरीवन फॉर जॉइनिंग एंड वाचिंग अस डू नॉट फॉरगेट टू लाइक शेयर एंड सब्सक्राइब ऐसे ही हम न्यू बुक्स और उनके ऑथर्स के साथ आते रहेंगे थैंक यू सो मच एवरीवन
Thank you so much, Pooja. Thank you.